What if we told you the $200 macro course you just bought from a popular TikTok influencer might be based on a lie?
I could have kept this a secret. I could have gone on and on for years and not told, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be that influencer. I haven't done a shred class since last year because I just didn't feel right about doing it. I'm just a person, a mom, a wife, a nurse, and I'm trying to balance my personal life and my social media life, and sometimes it just gets hard.
This is Janelle Rohner, a TikTok influencer who skyrocketed to fame after a dramatic weight loss transformation.
And with that, the 2022 season, and with that, the 2023 season, and with that, the 2024 season comes to it.
She is now at the center of a controversy, and it's not just about the weight loss, it's about the authenticity of her claims, her so-called weight loss program, and a whole bunch of fake advertising. But the question is how she went from being one of the most loved and followed fitness influencers to a liar in a matter of months. From what we've gathered so far, she's been dodging one question for a long time, whether she was on any weight loss medication or not. And when she finally revealed the truth, people started questioning everything about her brand and her weight loss journey.
So here goes. Yes, over the last year, I have decided to make some new choices in my health. I started working with a doctor, and we did decide to add a GLP-1 to my plan.
Turned out she's been taking medication as a tool to help her weight loss journey, which is not really bad if it sails her boat, but the issue here is that she's been lying to her audience and potentially scamming them with a pricey macro course while having no credentials to sell it in the first place. In today's video, we're going to talk about another one of TikTok's fitness scammers and the reality of unethical practices in the fitness industry. But most importantly, we're going to talk about why what Janelle did was wrong. So buckle in and stay with us till the end to know the whole tea. For those of you who don't already know her, Janelle Rohner is a nurse, a TikTok content creator, a mom, and someone who's made a brand around eating healthy and macro counting. With thousands of followers hanging on to her every post, she decided to launch a paid macro course costing $200, supposedly to help others replicate her transformation. She started her TikTok account around 2020, and since then, she's had a massive transformation. For the record, here's a side-by-side comparison of what she looked like before versus what she looks like right now. It's evident that she looks nothing like what she did when she first started her TikTok. This was the major reason why people wanted to see her, but more than that, people trusted her. They watched her transformation unfold in real time, right there in their TikTok feed day by day. And they didn't just admire her results, they wanted to look like her. What made Janelle Rohner stand out wasn't just the weight loss, it was who she was during the journey. A mom, a busy woman juggling real-life responsibilities. She wasn't some distant fitness guru, she was relatable, she was one of them. Other women, especially moms, saw themselves in her. They saw someone who looked after her kids, ran errands, worked the job, and somehow still made time for herself. And that's why people gravitated toward her content. Because it wasn't just about macros or workouts, it was about resilience, about showing up, even when life is chaotic. That's the kind of creators we need more of. Someone who doesn't sugarcoat reality or pretend life is a flawless Instagram reel. Janelle talked openly about burn-off, falling off track, getting overwhelmed, all the messy, very human stuff we all go through. And for a while, that honesty made her feel real. It made her feel trustworthy.
And for the record, can we normalize this little part of our bellies and celebrate it and embrace it? Because this grew 2 kids, and that's amazing. Let's pack lunch for my kindergartner. Turkey and cheese roll-up, some vegan cheddar puffs, and some goldfish, strawberries, and some fruit snacks.
When she first started posting content, she made content around eating healthy and healthy lifestyle. Most of her videos were dietary tips and easy meal prep videos like this.
Delicious crock-pot chili. Let me show you how to make it. Start by browning some ground turkey. Saute your veggies.
Frugal Friday, Thanksgiving edition. If you're on a budget this year and you're stressed out, I got you.
She also has a series on her page counting macros. which she's also turned into an online course. She gained around 5 million followers on TikTok and became the internet's favorite fitness influencer.
A protein breakfast option that's not eggs or yogurt or cottage cheese. I make these little turkey cream cheese toasts, I guess, sandwich. I don't know. It's 16 grams of protein for both. Not the highest protein content, but better than nothing.
But here's the thing. What she didn't say publicly or in the course itself is that she might be using GLP-1 weight loss medications. And it's not like people haven't been speculating on it. In fact, some of the comments under her old videos suggest that people have been wondering this for a long time, with some believing that she would have told her audience if she had been taking something, and others highlighting that she looks a lot like she's on Ozempic or GLP. She posted this one video on her Instagram sharing a recipe for an acai bowl, and the comments literally fired her for using GLP-1. We're going to start to read some of these comments for you. Don't forget a drizzle of GLP-1. It enhances the taste of the lies in peanut butter. Easy to lose weight if you're taking a GLP-1. None of these recipes mean anything now. After this, make sure to take Ozempic. However, there have also been comments supporting her. For instance, this one user wrote, "Crazy how every time someone loses weight, people assume it's Ozempic. She's been posting her food for years." While others wrote, "I am sure she'd tell if she's on Ozempic, at least I hope so. Janelle's been working hard for years. Discipline pays off." It's very clear from these comments that people have been accusing her of using weight loss medications like Ozempic, Wegovy, or Mounjaro for a long time. Now, for those of you who don't know what they are, here's a little science lesson for you. Weight loss medications like Ozempic belong to a class of drugs called GLP-1 receptor agonists, which were originally developed to treat type 2 diabetes. These medications work by mimicking a hormone called glucagon-like peptide 1, GLP-1, that regulates blood sugar and appetite. They help people feel full longer, slow down digestion, and reduce food cravings, all of which contribute to reduced calorie intake and sustainable weight loss over time. Wegovy, for instance, is a higher dose version of a semaglutide, the active ingredient in Ozempic, specifically approved for chronic weight management. However, these medications have also sparked a huge debate on the internet. On one side, you've got doctors, influencers, and everyday users hailing them as miracle drugs. Finally, something that works. While on the other, critics warn we're diving headfirst into a pharmaceutical shortcut culture.
The studies that I'm aware of show that many people, maybe a majority of people, actually regain the weight when they stop taking these drugs. With the added, negative piece that while half the weight they lose while they're on the drugs is lean mass, when they regain the weight, it's all fat mass. So you actually end up at a worse body composition than you started at in some cases. Yeah. So is it possible to develop GLP-1 agonists that you can stop taking and the weight stays off? Again, I'm kind of skeptical given that the way the drugs work and that they're inducing a caloric restriction phenotype by attenuating appetite. Unless that appetite attenuation is maintained after you stop taking the drug, I don't really see how that's going to work to keep the weight off.
This poses a serious question. Are we hacking biology or just slapping a medical Band-Aid on a deeper problem? And let's not ignore the fine print, because like any so-called miracle, there's a price. Users have reported a slew of side effects ranging from nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, and constipation to more serious concerns like pancreatitis, gallbladder issues, and even thoughts of self-harm in rare cases. There is also growing concern about what happens when you stop taking them. Many users regain the weight quickly, sparking fears of dependency. Some argue that society's obsession with thinness is pushing people to medicate instead of heal, while others say, if it works and your doctor approves it, why not? It's a messy, complicated conversation at the intersection of medicine, body image, capitalism, and personal agency. And right now we're all in the middle of it, scrolling through before and afters, wondering what's real and what's just another filter. However, at the same time, there's no shortage of myths floating around the internet about GLP-1 medications. And according to a lot of professionals, a lot of them are just plain wrong. Before we go any further into this topic, we'd like to clarify that we are in no way or form fully qualified to talk about this topic. Everything that we've mentioned so far about this drug are things that are being said on the internet by other healthcare specialists or critics. For example, this doctor, who talked about myths surrounding the medication and why they're invalid.
5 of the most common myths about GLP-1s. Myth number 1, GLP-1s are too new. Believe it or not, GLP-1 medications have been approved by the FDA to treat type 2 diabetes for 15 years. And the first GLP-1 medication approved for weight loss was back in 2014. GLP-1s have been around for a long time and are generally considered safe. Number 2, GLP-1s are an easy way to lose weight. GLP-1s don't magically make you lose weight. The medication works by targeting appetite centers in the brain and slowing gastric emptying, reducing hunger, and making you feel fuller for longer. This ultimately helps people to make the lifestyle changes that can lead to weight loss. Myth number 3, if I stop taking my GLP-1, I'll regain all my weight back. That's not always the case. Research done at Weight Watchers has shown that when clinic members stop their GLP-1 medication and continue on with our behavioral program, they either maintain their weight or even continue to lose more weight. Number 4, there's always a shortage of GLP-1s. While it's true that there used to be shortages of semaglutide and tirzepatide have officially ended. Number 5, Ozempic is just another weight loss medication used by celebrities for vanity purposes. There's a couple issues with this one. First, Ozempic is prescribed for type 2 diabetes, not weight loss. Wegovy is approved for treating obesity. Second, there's certain criteria to be eligible for these medications. GLP-1s are meant to be used for medical weight management, not just to lose a few pounds. When GLP-1s are used appropriately and in combination with lifestyle change, they can absolutely support overall health.
One of the most common misconceptions is that these drugs are cheat codes for lazy people who don't want to diet or exercise. In reality, medications like Ozempic and Wegovy are designed to support people who are making lifestyle changes but need additional help due to medical conditions like obesity or insulin resistance. Another myth is that once you start taking them, you're on them for life, which isn't necessarily true. While long-term use is often recommended for sustained results, many patients successfully taper off under medical supervision. Then there's the fear-mongering claim that GLP-1s are dangerous or experimental, despite being FDA-approved and backed by years of clinical research. Sure, they come with side effects, what medication doesn't, but the risks are generally low when prescribed responsibly. At the end of the day, these aren't magic injections, and they're not shortcuts either. They're medical tools, not miracle cures, and like any tool, they work best when used correctly and transparently. We'd also like to clarify that this video is not targeted towards people who are taking these medications. In our opinion, if it works for you and you're taking it following a doctor's advice, there's nothing wrong with it. People are entitled to their bodies and what they want to do with them in order to look their best. No, this video isn't about the fact that she's been on the medication. It's about her lying about it and hiding it from the people, and we're going to get into all of this very shortly. But before we dive deeper into the controversy, let's talk about some of the other reasons Janelle Rohner became a bit of a running joke online. Back in her keto era, she developed what can only be described as a borderline romantic obsession with one very specific meal, the infamous bell pepper sandwich.
What are you?
An idiot sandwich.
Idiot sandwich what?
An idiot sandwich, Chef Ramsay.
You know the one, bell pepper halves stuffed with cream cheese, deli meat, sometimes tuna if she was feeling wild. She ate it everywhere, in her car, at work, during lunch breaks, in videos and stories, probably even in her dreams. We mean, you get the idea. It became her entire personality for a while, and the internet took notice. Memes were made, comments were dropped. People joked that if they saw one more crunchy bell pepper being chewed on camera, they were going to lose it.
Okay, bell pepper burgers are bussin'.
Janelle! Janelle, eat some bread. Eat some goddamn bread, Janelle. Just put the bell pepper down. I'm sorry if you're celiac, but like, there is gluten-free options for you. And please, I beg of you. Please, Janelle, it is not bussin'.
But in fairness, part of her appeal was that she was consistent, relatable, and always on the grind, even if it was a grind that crunched loudly with every bite. Anyways, we'd now like to come to the juiciest part of the video. How did this whole controversy blow up? And why do people hate her so much now? Is it really because she's been on GLP, or because of something else entirely? As we've mentioned, Janelle was being accused and asked about weight loss medications for a long time. However, every time she was asked this question, she would conveniently ignore it. She never really denied that she wasn't on GLP or Ozempic. But then she decided to open up about it, and the way she did it was also pretty sketchy, to be honest. She posted a video on her TikTok in April. It was captioned, "Let's talk about it." I know that sharing this might open me up to judgment, but hiding it would mean losing something important, my truth, and I owe it to you all to be honest. Let's just say this video is the beginning of it all. In this TikTok, she replied to a comment someone made in her account. It said, "Are you on Ozempic or Mounjaro?"
Okay, so I have seen this question all over my page, on all of my videos over the last couple of months, and let's talk about it. I recorded a whole YouTube because it is just way too long to talk about here. If you're interested, you could watch it over on my YouTube.
However, to everyone's disappointment, and honestly was kind of annoying, Janelle didn't give a straight answer. It was a simple question. Are you on Ozempic, Janelle? Yes or no? That's it. But instead of just answering directly, she dragged it out and redirected viewers to a YouTube video she made about the topic. And sure, she claimed it needed a longer explanation, but let's be real, TikTok does allow for long-form videos now. So why avoid the platform where the question was actually being asked? Why take it off TikTok completely? Well, we can't say for sure, but a lot of people, including us, think the answer is pretty obvious. Damage control. Janelle likely knew that if she admitted it on TikTok, where she has over 5 million followers and where people can be brutally honest, the backlash would have been immediate. Instead, she pointed to her much smaller YouTube channel, probably hoping fewer eyes would see it. The plan might have been to quietly explain things without setting off alarm bells. But, spoiler alert, people did go watch it, and they weren't impressed. The comments were filled with frustration because no matter how she tried to frame it, it still felt like a dodge. It wasn't transparency, it was the strategy, and people saw right through it. This is the YouTube video she posted on her channel. It was titled, "Let's Talk, Therapy, GLP-1, and the Truth About My Recent Weight Loss." Honestly, she's not entirely wrong. There's nothing shameful about using a weight loss tool, especially one that's working under medical supervision. People shouldn't be made to feel guilty for taking control of their health. But the issue here isn't the use of the medication, it's the lack of transparency. Janelle claims she only recently started using these medications, and that most of her progress came from showing up and doing the work she documents on social media. But when you conveniently leave out such a major part of your weight loss journey, especially while selling a $200 macro course and positioning yourself as a weight loss guide, it starts to cross into scammy territory. People followed her for motivation. They trusted her. Some even spent their hard-earned money trying to replicate her results. So when the truth finally came out, it didn't feel empowering. It felt like betrayal dressed up as inspiration. In her video, Janelle mentioned that she never expected her life to be under this much scrutiny, and that the criticism has taken a toll on her mental health. And while that's completely valid, no one deserves relentless bullying or harassment, it's also part of the reality check that comes with being in the spotlight, especially when you present yourself as an aspiration to millions. When you market your journey as authentic and motivational, when you build a brand on relatability, discipline, and doing the work, people will ask questions. They should ask questions. That scrutiny isn't always hate. Sometimes it's accountability. Because when money is involved and when real people are following your lead, transparency isn't just a bonus, it's a responsibility. You don't get to influence lives and sell advice without expecting people to hold you to the standard you set for yourself. And let's take a moment to talk about the mental health aspect. Yes, Janelle, it's okay to ask for help, to look after yourself. But you know what's not okay? Not being honest with your audience at the right time. Don't get us wrong, it's genuinely brave when influencers open up about how hard it is to be constantly watched, judged, and picked apart online. That kind of pressure can be overwhelming, and it's important to acknowledge that. But at the same time, a lot of people couldn't help but feel a little manipulated. The way Janelle framed this situation made it seem like the backlash was just online hate, when in reality, people were reacting to a very specific form of dishonesty. It felt like she was using the mental health card to deflect from the real issue, that she misled people, that she built trust by showing her diet and workouts, while very strategically omitting the part where she was also using a powerful weight loss medication. And when you're selling a lifestyle and a course based on that journey, it becomes more than just a personal choice. It becomes deception. As expected, people were really mad at this. If you go look at this video of her on YouTube, you will find tons of comments just pointing out this factor that she completely missed in her explanation. One user wrote, "Girl, bye. If you're in the fat loss world and taking a GLP-1, you must disclose it. There's nothing wrong with taking one, but not disclosing it while selling fat loss courses is slimy as hell." Another comment read, "The issue isn't about using GLP-1 or seeking help from a doctor for your mental health. No one is upset about that, so please don't use that as a cover. The real problem is charging people for a weight loss program while hiding the true reason behind your own weight loss, something you don't even seem to believe in yourself, which is why you turn to medication. You're taking people's money, misleading them, and not being honest with yourself either. That's the issue. No one has a problem with others using the medication because they're not selling a false narrative." And honestly, we couldn't agree more with this comment. Another pretty spot-on comment we found was this one. "I struggle to share this because I might come across fraudulent." Honestly, it would have been so much easier if she had just come online and said, "Hey, since you guys have been a part of my journey for so long, I owe it to you guys to inform you that I've been considering making these changes and taking these medications." Now, that would have been full transparency. If she had just been honest from the start, people wouldn't feel so betrayed. Because at least then they'd be making an informed choice. They'd know that her transformation wasn't solely the result of her macro course or strict dieting. It was also being aided by a GLP-1 medication, something they didn't have as part of their routine. And that makes a huge difference. With full transparency, people could still choose to support her or even buy the course, but they do so with realistic expectations. They wouldn't be chasing an unattainable goal or blaming themselves for not seeing the same results. Honesty wouldn't have hurt her brand. The lack of it did. And because of this, people were quick to call her out, including other creators from the industry. This creator called Laura Giesi made a video talking about it, and honestly, we feel like we need to show you this, because it'll put things into perspective and explain why it's wrong to people who believe she hasn't done anything wrong.
In case you missed it, influencer Janelle Rohner revealed on her YouTube channel that she's been taking a GLP-1. Janelle calls herself a health and wellness blogger, but she really focuses on weight loss. And Janelle has amassed millions of followers. And in and amongst all this, Janelle has a course. She sells Macros 101 course. And this course costs $200. However, Janelle then announces that she's been taking a GLP-1. If that's what you want to do with your body, if it works for you and your lifestyle, your socioeconomic status, go for it. And if you do feel like shaming people about making that choice to go on a GLP-1, that's you aligning yourself to Jillian Michaels, and that's not cute. However, when you have built a brand and a huge following around weight loss, and you are monetizing off the idea that this is how other folk can lose weight, and you go on a GLP-1 and you don't tell people, that starts to look a little deceitful. Did I put too much SPF on? Maybe, but you know, we're rolling with it. Small change of scenery while I make our lunch. So I did have to go all the way to YouTube to watch this video. Somebody very rightly pointed out, it's called lying by omission, by not disclosing she was pairing the meds with the diet. This got me thinking, had Janelle said early on, guys, this is what I'm thinking of doing, and stood by that decision, explained that this is what she was planning to do, I think this would have gone down a lot better. Babe, do you want chicken for lunch? Leftover salty chicken. If Janelle early on had said, guys, I'm gonna do this, I want full transparency, this is what I'm planning on doing, doesn't take away from my plan, sure, she probably would have lost some customers. Could have just added this into her branding, into her content. Transparency, for me at least, is key. And on the whole, I think when it comes to influencers, transparency needs to be key. The fitness and wellness industries already feel quite deceitful. People are growing their glutes with surgeries rather than exercises. People are going on GLP-1s and they're not telling people. People are using filters. It can make the health and fitness industry seem very deceitful. And so it feels like what I would have preferred, and this is not about me, I think we need to work on more transparency and just owning decisions that we make. Like I said, people can do whatever they want with their bodies, but when you create a business and you are monetizing, telling them that I've had these results, if I can do it, you can do it, you just got to spend $200 in order to get there, and not telling them that you're on a weight loss rug, a little shady. Those are my 2 cents. Manchego really couldn't care less about this in any way whatsoever.
Besides Laura here, there have been other creators as well with other theories. For instance, this creator is called Ashley. She chimed in her own hot take on the subject, And according to her, this whole coming out thing only happened because Janelle might be considering selling GLP in the future.
Why not throw my hot take into the Janelle Rohner GLP-1 situation? So my hot take is I believe she is going to have a code for a GLP-1. I think that this is absolutely ridiculous, and no influencers should be allowed to shill GLP-1s, but it's popping up all over the place. I've seen it everywhere, and this is something that needs to be discussed with a doctor, and not just like a code that's thrown out. Now, I'm making assumptions about her, but I've seen influencers shill GLP-1s all over the place, and it's absolutely insane. I do not think that she would have came out and said that she was on one if she wasn't going to have some kind of monetary gain from this situation. Also, everybody, including myself, using her name and talking about her only gets her more attention and only makes her more money. It's kind of funny how people don't realize that. And the last thing I will say is I am not against GLP-1s, but I am against people not having integrity with their content. Everything should be transparent, especially when you are influencing people to do something, whether that be weight loss or not. And unfortunately, in the influencing space, money tends to sway people in ways that you would not believe.
While this is solely based on assumptions, we wouldn't really be surprised if this turned out to be true. After all, Janelle did say in her TikTok that she could have kept it hidden, like she did a favor on people by telling them the truth. This is the response video she posted on her TikTok when a user left a comment under her post accusing her of seeking sympathy. The comment read, "Girl, if you want sympathy, you better start giving some people their money back, like from the time you started the meds." Honestly, it's fair to ask for a refund on the course if she scammed people into buying it. She responded to the comment, claiming that she would give people their money back, but we don't really know if anything like that has happened yet. While we really don't appreciate her saying that she couldn't have kept it secret, we do think there's a part of her that might genuinely be trying to make things right now. The last bit of that video, where she finally admitted to the medication, talked about being honest moving forward, and even mentioned offering refunds, that should have been her actual apology. That's what people were looking for from the beginning, not the part where she spent so long talking about how hard it is to be a mom, a wife, and a content creator all at once. Yes, life is hard. Yes, balancing everything is overwhelming. But when someone brings up a valid criticism, especially one tied to trust and money, you can't bury it under a pile of personal struggles. It's starting to feel like she's using her mental health as a shield from accountability. If you look at the comments under this video, the first comment to pop up for us was this one comparing her to Brittany Dawn. If you don't already know about her, she was a fitness influencer who got dragged into serious controversy for selling personalized workout and nutrition plans that, well, turned out to be anything but personalized. Hundreds of her followers claimed they paid for one-on-one coaching and never received what was promised. Some didn't get anything at all. Eventually, she was sued by the Texas Attorney General for deceptive business practices. We'll save the rest for drama for another video. The point of bringing Brittany Dawn up here is simple. Scamming people with fake cookie-cutter diet plans isn't anything new. It's been done before, and people have faced serious consequences for it. Because no matter what these so-called influencers might believe, audiences today are smarter. They're not blindly throwing money at anyone who claims to have the secret to weight loss. They want transparency. They want real answers. And more importantly, they deserve the truth, not a vague, roundabout explanation after you've pocketed hundreds of dollars and used that cash to fund your fancy GLP-1 medication. A half-hearted apology after the fact doesn't cut it anymore. Accountability does. That being said, we'd now like to talk about another important thing that people have been raising eyebrows at: her qualifications and credentials for selling that course in the first place.
Responded to my video talking about Janelle Rohner. And they said, but she's a macro coach. And I said, but that's not somebody who's really been trained. Like, you can literally go online and get certified in almost anything these days, but it's all just bogus training, right? You go online and you get like a 1-week certification and call yourself a macro coach, or a 30-day certification and call yourself a macro coach. Anybody can literally do that these days. The thing about Janelle Rohner is she is an influencer. She has 5.2 million followers. And this is why I always tell my clients, like, be cautious of people who are giving health and nutrition advice who have millions of followers, or they're selling things, they're selling supplements, they have affiliate codes. These are all red flags. They are not credible sources of information. I don't think a lot of people know this. And I think a lot of people, when they see Janelle on her journey, they're like, they could relate. And they also were like, I want to look like that. And so of course I'm going to buy her program because I want to look like her. Janelle is somebody who is an influencer. She doesn't really have credible training. And when I started my website at the end of 2012, it's been that long, I was really just starting it to share like my 80-pound weight loss journey and share my recipes, because literally so many people were asking me for recipes and how did you do this? And I was like, I'm just going to put it on a website so everybody can go there. But I gained a following so quickly, and I could tell that so many women were desperate for answers, desperate for help. And I wasn't equipped to help them. And I felt a personal responsibility to get real training. The first thing I went off and did is got a personal training certification. And I also got like an online coaching certification. And I learned very quickly, those were not going to be things that were going to be enough for me to help women stop dieting and get out of diet culture. So that's when I ended up going back to school, because I felt like I didn't want to be an influencer. I wanted to actually help people. I felt a personal responsibility to like actually have accurate information to provide women with, because I actually wanted to help women. I wanted to help women get out of this like crazy diet culture nonsense and all of these BS programs that, you know, like Weight Watchers and Jenny Craig and Nutrisystem, all these BS programs that just don't work. And I fell for them too for like so many years of my life, buying all these fitness programs and like supplements and things, and none of it works. And so I felt that personal responsibility as somebody who was online with a pretty large following to not be giving people inaccurate information just to sell something. I don't want to be that person. I could make a ton of money if I just decided that I wanted to do that. And that's honestly, guys, what a lot of people are doing online. It's really unfortunate, but they're selling you a bunch of junk just so they can make a dime off.
Janelle markets herself as a macro coach, giving out nutrition advice and selling a $200 course based on how she supposedly lost all the weight. Now, this is not cheap for a simple diet plan. It's actually quite pricey, and people want to know what's actually in this course that it costs so much. But here's the thing, Janelle isn't a certified dietitian. She's not a licensed nutritionist. She's not even a certified macro coach by any recognized program. She's a nurse, and while that absolutely deserves respect, being a nurse doesn't qualify someone to create and sell dietary or weight loss plans to the general public. There's a reason registered dietitians go through years of education, clinical hours, and licensing requirements. When someone without that level of expertise starts selling wellness advice, especially under the guise of personal success, it blurs the line between personal story and professional credibility. And that's where it starts to feel misleading, if not dangerous. People trust healthcare professionals and they trust influencers. But when you blend both roles without being upfront about your actual credentials, it becomes a problem. However, if we put the credentials aside and assume that she is a certified macro coach, her course still doesn't explain its price tag. This is her Macro 101 course. The details read as follows. My new Macros 101 course is now available for purchase. This will be a one-time purchase, and you will understand everything you need to know as a beginner counting their macros. This course will literally change your life and the way you view food. Creating a balanced lifestyle is so important, and understanding it's okay to fit your favorite foods into your lifestyle is key. I went from eating 1,200 calories to 2,200 calories and actually lost more weight, gained muscle, and completely changed my body composition. I discovered muscles I didn't even know I had. This course is focused on your nutrition, and no exercise is required to lose weight, but it is encouraged for your mental and overall health. So she is claiming that this course will change people's lives in the way they see food. If we read further, she has a total of 5 lessons in the course on macronutrients, proteins, fats, and carbs, using a food scale, tracking meals through MyFitnessPal, calculating personal macros, and reverse dieting strategies. It also ends with general workout tips and access to a private support group that offers live sessions and Q&A responses. While the course is neatly packaged, we can all agree that the information it provides isn't revolutionary. It's the kind of beginner-level nutritional advice you can easily find for free online through reputable health websites, fitness influencers, or even YouTube tutorials. You're essentially paying for a presentation, not proprietary expertise. Here's what's included in the course. Intro, 5 lessons and outro video. Lose, gain, or maintain weight. Macro worksheet. 3 sample days. Food list. Access to a free private Facebook group. Pre-recorded class that you can work at your own pace. One-time payment of $200. No refunds. Final sale. Like we said, she did package it very nicely. However, one thing we didn't see was her mentioning that she had been on GLP. Nada. Nowhere. Even now, after so many people called her out, she hasn't updated the page to state that her weight loss is helped by a tool called GLP-1. This again proves that she didn't want to take full accountability for it. She's only cashing out her influence on other people who love her and look up to her. It's honestly very heartbreaking to see other people being scammed this way by influencers. Incidents like Janelle Rohner's controversy, where influencers promote diet plans without full transparency about their use of weight loss medications or lack of proper qualifications, are slowly chipping away at the credibility of the fitness industry as a whole. When someone with a large platform misleads their audience, it casts doubt on even the most honest and certified professionals trying to make a difference. People become more skeptical, more hesitant to trust, and understandably so. The damage isn't just limited to one influencer's reputation, it trickles down, creating a culture of mistrust that hurts legitimate coaches, nutritionists, and trainers who work hard to provide accurate, personalized guidance. It's no longer just about one person making money, it's about how these actions feed into a wider problem of misinformation, exploitation, and eroding consumer confidence. On top of that, it's also bad for your personal brand. When you admit to one lie and people call you out for it, they automatically start wondering what else you've been lying about all this time. Are you really the person they thought you were? When this happens, it gets a little hard to tell what part is genuine and what part's a scam. On this note, we'd like to end this video. If you liked it, then don't forget to give it a huge thumbs up. Don't forget to comment down below and share your thoughts with us. Do you think Janelle Rohner's a scam? Or do you believe she's just an average influencer who made bad choices at the bad time?